So welcome to this presentation on the anatomy and physiology of the eyes and the ears. So the eyes, they are special senses. They have 5 special senses: the eyes, the ears, the skin, the one for smell, sense of smell, and gustation, the one for taste. The eye is composed of several structures that would work together to facilitate sight. Vision is possible through the coordination of the nerves that will control the movement of the eyeball, the amount of light that is admitted by the pupil, the focusing of the light on the retina by the lens, and of course the transmission of impulses to the brain by the optic nerve. The external structure of the eye. The orbit of the eye is a cavity in front of the skull, like a hole, and it contains the eyeball and is formed by several bones and is then lined with a fatty tissue that cushions the eyeball and prevents it from injury. The orbit has several openings called foraminas for blood vessels and nerves, including the optic foramina for the optic nerve and the ophthalmic artery. So there are 6 muscles that control the eye movements. 4 of them are called rectus muscles that allow a person to see either up or down, or to the right or to the left. And the other 2 are called oblique muscles that will allow the eyes to turn to see upper left in an oblique direction, upper right in an oblique direction, lower right in an oblique direction, and lower left in an oblique direction. And the eyeballs would also maintain, these muscles will also maintain the shape of the eyeball. So those 6 muscles, you have the recti, you have the superior recti, rectus muscles, you have the medial rectus muscle, you have the lateral rectus muscle, then you have the inferior rectus muscle. And for the oblique, you have the superior oblique, and there's an inferior oblique muscle. The superior and inferior palpebra, those are the eyelids. We have both upper and lower lids. And what they do is to protect the eyeball from intense light. So when your eye gets exposed to a lot of light, reflexly you shut them. Then to foreign particles, if you have an insect flying and about to land close to your eye, you by reflex just shut the eyelids. And impact, if someone wants to give you a punch in the eye, by reflex you shut the eye. And their blinking motion would also keep the eyeball surface lubricated and free from dust and debris. The eyelashes on the edge of the lid prevent foreign particles from entering the eye. So the eyelashes are not just for mascara and the lights. The essential function by evolution, by design, is to protect foreign particles from entering the eye. Still part of the structures of the eyelid, there's something called meibomian glands. These are these dots like kind of structures, and they line the upper and the lower lids. And what they do is to produce sebum. Sebum is an oily secretion that is mixed with tears to keep the eyelids from sticking together. And the eyelids will form an angle of skin at the inside and the outside of the eye called canthus. So there's the lateral canthus on the outer side, and there's the medial canthus on the inner side of the eye. So conjunctiva, external structure of the eye. Still, the conjunctiva is the lining on the underside of each eyelid, and the mucous membrane over the eyeball. What it does is to provide a protective covering for the exposed surface. This is part of the conjunctiva. This is also part of the conjunctiva. So it's the lining of the inner part of the lid and over the eyeball. So part of conjunctiva. This is also part of conjunctiva. And this is a picture of an inflamed conjunctiva. It looks red. It looks angry. And the lacrimal apparatus, it includes the structures that will produce will store and also remove tears that will cleanse and lubricate the eye. And the lacrimal glands will secrete tears that wash across the conjunctiva during blinking. And the lacrimal canaliculi are the two ducts at the inner corner of the eye that will collect tears. The lacrimal sac dilates and pulls in the tear fluid. The nasolacrimal duct drains the tears into the nose. Now, all of these combined together, the lacrimal gland, lacrimal canaliculi, lacrimal sac, nasolacrimal duct, are all called the lacrimal apparatus. So this is the lacrimal gland that will secrete the tears. Then the canaliculi are the two ducts at the inner corner of the eye. What they do is to collect the tears. Then the nasolacrimal duct will drain it into the nose. That's why when you cry a lot, sometimes you can feel like the tears are going down through your throat into your nose, through your nose into your throat. Or you can cry so much and you find that your nose is running. Okay, so the eyeball itself is globe-shaped. It's like a ball and is divided into two cavities. The front cavity is filled with a watery fluid that is called aqueous. And at the back is a cavity that is filled with something that looks like a jelly-like material called vitreous humor, which helps to maintain the shape of the eyes. So in the front here, you have the aqueous humor, and at the back, you have the vitreous humor. This is what maintains the shape of the eye and keeps it in this globe-like shape. The outer layer of the eye has two parts. The sclera is the white part of the eye. The cornea is the transparent outer part. The transparent outer part. And it is curved. And because of its curvature, it bends light rays and helps to focus them on the surface of the retina. Retina is further behind. It's not an external structure. The middle layer of the eye is just behind that transparent cornea. Just behind the transparent cornea. And it contains the colored iris, which gives color to the eyes. Because some people have a blue one, have a brown one, a green one, and all sorts of colors. And it has a hole in the center called the pupil. That's why we'll check for pupillary reflex. And this contracts and dilates to regulate the amount of light that is admitted into the eyes. When you have a lot of, in a very highly lit environment, or someone shines light directly into your eyes, your pupils will contract to reduce the amount of light that is entering into the eyes. And it can also dilate to regulate the amount of light admitted. If you're in a dark room, the pupils will many times dilate. And the ciliary body will control the convexity of the lens. This is the ciliary body. Control the convexity of the lens and would also help to secrete aqueous humor. So the choroid is a pigmented membrane. And what it does is to prevent internal reflection of lights. So the lights that come in, let it not be reflected internally. Okay. So the external structure of the eye still is, here we have the inner layer. The innermost layer of the eye is the retina, and it's full of photoreceptors called rods and cones. Microscopically, this is what it looks like. You have rods and you have cones. Rods are sensitive to dim light and they are used for night visions. So these are the rods. They are majorly used for night visions. And the cones are sensitive to bright lights and they are used for color too. The nerve fibers from the retina would all converge to form the optic nerve as a spot on the inner layer known as the optic disc. And the optic nerve goes directly to the vision center of the brain. There are no rods or cones in the area of the optic disc, so it's insensitive to light, and a blind spot is created. Trying to get the cursor here. Here. So everything connects together here at the optic disc. So this is the blind spot. The lens is a colorless crystalline body that contracts and relaxes due to the action of the ciliary muscles. And they change shape by a process called accommodation. This occurs for both night and distant vision. The lens is able to change shape to accommodate the light quality that is coming in, the proximity of the objects being viewed to the eyes. Now, as we view an object, the light rays strike the eye and pass through the cornea, the pupils, the aqueous humor, the lens, the vitreous humor, a whole barrage of structures to then reach the retina. And the image would stimulate the rods and the cones, as the case may be, whether it's a night vision, it's a day vision, it's a colored vision. And an upside down image is transferred to the brain. It is the brain that turns the image right side up. The second special sense we'll discuss is the ear. The ear is designed for hearing and equilibrium, and it receives sounds, vibrations, is sensitive to the force of gravity, and reacts to the movement of the head. As you move your head, your ear picks up such signals. The external ear consists of the cartilaginous pinna. This is the pinna. And it collects and channels the sound to the ear canal, or also called auditory canal. And this opens to the eardrum. This opens to the eardrum here. The eardrum is also called the tympanic membrane, and it vibrates as any sound hits it. And there are glands that line the auditory canal and secrete cerumen or earwax. Is when this is in excess that it may then plug the external auditory meatus, the ear canal, that we say someone has wax impaction. But the function of this cerumen is to lubricate the ear and protect the ear. It traps dust, it traps dirt, so it protects the ear, and it also lubricates it, prevent it from irritation. The middle ear contains 3 bones or ossicles, that bones or ossicles. There's the malleus or hammer, because it looks like an hammer, and it connects to the tympanic membrane on one side. And there's the incus or anvil on the other side. The incus connects to the stapes, or again stirrup. And as the sound vibrations are transmitted mechanically through these bones, is amplified up to 22 times. So you're able to hear this recording because the sound that is being transmitted to these 3 bones of the middle ear is amplified up to 22 times. So here we have the malleus that looks like an hammer. Then here we have the incus, and here we have the anvil. The middle ear is also responsible for equalizing external and internal air pressure on the tympanic membrane. And this occurs when air comes in from outside through the auditory canal and comes in from the inside through the throat. Some air will come in through the throat, some air will come in from outside. So muscles near the inner ear attach to the stapes and the malleus and exert some control over damaging loud noise. That's why someone screams into your ears, you don't lose your sense of hearing. If you look at this mini video as it was playing, you saw what happened. You can see the stapes and the malleus controlling and dampening the effect of any sound that is coming, bearing in mind that every sound is amplified up to 22 times. So the inner ear contains structures referred to as labyrinths because they are complicated bony shapes. And one of this structure is called the cochlea. It's divided into 3 channels that run its entire coiled length. And these channels are filled with auditory fluid. This is the cochlea. It looks like a snail shell and it's filled with auditory fluid. And there are holes in the cochlea. There are round oval windows that will allow the sound to enter the middle here. And inside one of the cochlear chamber is something called organ of Corti. It is filled with nerve endings that connect to the auditory nerve, transmitting sound from the inner ear to the brain. The vestibule and the semicircular canals are bony structures that are lined with membrane and contain a fluid called perilymph. And this fluid will provide a sense of equilibrium, and changes in the position of the head will cause this fluid to move against sensory receptors. Dizziness or motion sickness may be associated with rapid head movement. If you move your head a lot, you could have some dizziness, some vertigo. Okay. And that's why people would experience motion sickness when they are in a moving vehicle, because of the movement and the instability of the vehicles. I think that ends this presentation. Thank you very much.